All right, so we are joined from St. Louis, Missouri by the founder of Color Coded Kids and 19-year professional with worldwide technology. Shay Gillespie. Thank you so much for joining us. We're in the information technology career cluster, and I've got a room full here with me at Velma Jackson High School. We're recording this for all of our friends at Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So we thank you so much for joining us from the IT career cluster. So before we jump into everything it is you do at Worldwide Technology and Color Coded Kids, take us back. You were a graduate of St. Louis University there in the St. Louis area and Webster University. So tell us about your educational background.
Well, first I want to say thank you for having me. I love, reaching back. I had mentors growing up, and I just think it's so important for kids to see people and folks that look like them, quite frankly, being successful or doing something that they enjoy. And I absolutely enjoy everything that I do. So thank you for having me. So my education was years ago, years, 20 plus years ago. I grew up in St. Louis, and I went to public schools my entire life, and then was bused out to I was bused out to a DSEG. They had what you call a DSEG program, and I was bused out to Eureka, which is a predominantly white school district in St. Louis, and it was a really different experience for me because I grew up in the intercity, and I was, my mom was a single mom of 3 kids, and so we lived with my grandmother, but she taught us that education was just vital for us, and the schools that were in our neighborhood were not the best. And so we were in this desegregation program and bust out, and which helped me see different aspects and perspectives of life. And I think it was the start of my career.
Yeah, and then you went to St. Louis University.
Home of the Billikens. I went to St. Louis University, and I actually I started at community college. Actually, my first 2 years, I got most of my credits from a community college. So just so you know, it's not too you don't have to be a traditional 4-year school because they're so expensive. You can get a lot of the credits, those standard general credits at a community college, which is what I did. And then I went to St. Louis University, which is a private Jesuit expensive school, and got my education there. And then I was so used to going to school, and one of my girlfriends was like, let's just get our master's. I had no plan at the time, only because she said get a master's. I went on and got my master's degree at Webster in communications management.
Yeah, and you've been with Worldwide Technology, and we watched a couple of short videos on what all they do. Some of the most cutting edge technology on the planet is right there in St. Louis. So talk a little bit about what Worldwide Technology does.
The Worldwide Technology is exactly what the name says. We sell technology globally to some of the biggest customers on the planet. So if you name it, they are probably our customers. If you look at the Fortune 100, so if you're students, just Google Fortune 100, 85% of those companies, and they are the largest, they're the Fortune 100, just means the 100 most revenue-wise largest companies on the globe. 85% are our customers. So we sell technology to them to help them with their customers be more efficient and automated, and help them with some of the things from food and beverage industry to to oil and gas, to education. So we sell to a many schools, and it's all the technology that you don't see. So what helps your students, automate, and the digital aspects and the infrastructure that supports your school. We sell that to customers across the globe.
Yeah, and that's what we were kind of talking about before you came on, is that first of all, every company, no matter it's McDonald's or Hampton Inn or the United States military or hospitals, they have IT people and they need IT people. And we watched one of your videos where it saw that there are literally thousands of IT jobs that are unfilled every day in the United States, and there's not enough people to fill them. And
Right.
IT is one of the few, and you mentioned community college. IT is one of those fields where you don't necessarily need the 4-year degree to get into. So talk about some of those certifications and what you're seeing as far as trends for IT jobs.
This is probably the thing I love most about technology is that you don't have to be a traditional career 4-year student where back in the day, in our day, we're dating ourselves, but you had to have a 4-year degree to even get some of these small level jobs that was always on the job requirements. Now, what I'm seeing and the trends that are happening is you can you can go do a trade and certify in as many of these IT careers. I know folks who've had careers in education or something that has nothing to do with tech and have gone through a certification organization for 9 months, 18 months, and are now software developers to one of the largest corporations or some of the largest corporations across the country. So the good thing is, you don't, it's leveling the playing field in my eyes, because many students, especially from underserved communities, can't afford 80,000 a year for school, or all these expensive 4-year colleges. The beauty of these is there's so many organizations that you can get grants and they'll provide training inside these organizations in tech. And so for me, that just, I think, widens or not widens the gap, but shortens the gap between the have and the have-nots in trying to get access to these types of roles and positions.
Yeah, and something else I mentioned too is the military, is in particular the Air Force and Space Force really are putting out people that are able to get into 6-figure IT jobs without ever going to college.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing that the world is changing and understanding that the traditional 4-year, it's nice, and it is, and it works for certain people. I have a girlfriend, her daughter is a doctor. She has to go to school for 12 years. I mean, that's just what you have to do, because I don't want someone going to school for 9 months saying, let me work on your heart.
Yeah.
So it's some roles you do have to go to school for, but these IT roles and these new up and coming roles with the automation and machine learning, you really just need to understand, the languages. It gets certified in these different languages. And so that's the beauty of this, that you don't have to do so many years of schooling to get to the 6-figure jobs.
Yeah, and we really are all about giving kids options, because it's different from when me and you were coming up. There's so many ways to get into technology.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we got to talk about color coded kids there in the St. Louis area, and I know you've expanded into other areas now because you saw a need for it. And I'll let you tell why you saw that need, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, so I started Color Coded Kids in my basement in 2016 because of my son. I had a son, he was 9 or 10 at the time, and he was interested in coding. And St. Louis, if you know anything about St. Louis, it's a very segregated city. And so where I live is predominantly Black. I'm in a nice area, I would say middle class, upper middle class, but it's mainly African Americans in our neighborhood. And there was not a lot of STEM programming. everything that we had was in West County. That's more of an affluent area. And so it's about an hour drive from my house. And I was taking my son to these coding classes. And one of those drives, I'm thinking, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be another family like me that is interested. And so, long story short, I put a post out on Facebook, asked parents, were they interested? They said yes. I created a website, got with a software developer, and within 2 months, Color Coded Kids was started in my basement. We had classes in my basement. First cohort was 16 students. The next month, 25. The next month, I mean, it just grew and grew. And by 3 months, I had a national partnership with Microsoft because they were interested in seeing this development.
Yeah, you kind of went out there for a second, but yeah,
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I think it's our connection. But yeah, you were in the Microsoft store there in St. Louis, which is really cool to partner with something like that. Now, and before I get to students' questions, because I know your voice is really struggling. What are the main languages that you teach in this academy? Because even though they are pretty basic, they are very important for these jobs where coding is just becoming more and more important.
Yeah, so we teach front end development. So we teach CSS, HTML, and JavaScript primarily. And then we have an advanced course where we teach Python. And yes, so the front end development is basically the development of a website, development of an app. So if you want to get started with what do you want this app to look like? What do you want this gaming? Our kids code a game, an actual game. And so it's just, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had somebody at the door.
Oh,
You're fine. Go ahead.
So yeah, so it's just really coding a game, and it's the front end aspects of the game that we teach in a 12-hour or at least 12-hour class or course. We teach this app development, and they just get the primary skills. It's nothing too integrated, but it's really just to introduce, because we teach starting at 8 years old. So it's really just to introduce coding to our students.
Yeah, and I think it's important because something else we were talking about is that the news and the media wants to scare you saying AI and computers are going to take over our jobs. That's not the case. That's not the case. What is going to happen though are the types of jobs are going to change. The skills needed for these jobs are going to change. This is a big manufacturing area. We have a big Amazon fulfillment plant here. We have a Levi's plant. We have a Nissan plant, and obviously these create tons of jobs. But the manual, hand working jobs are going to be fewer. The robotics and programming and computer software, hardware jobs are going to be greater. So that's why it's so important to be familiar with these skills, to get these IT certifications. Even if you get a degree, you can have an IT certification. You're that much more marketable when it comes to the workplace coming up, because, me and you're about the same age. It has changed so much from when we went to school.
Yeah. Yeah. And I don't want to, exactly. And I don't want to diminish the 4-year degree, or say that that's not still needed.
We have some great computer science programs here as well. We have HBCU programs that are spectacular.
Yeah, and I feel like I kind of diminished, like, you don't have to go to school. It is important to go to school and get that education, get the discipline, and learn on that level, on the post high school level. It is vitally important. There's computer science degrees, and like you said, it just makes you more marketable in these careers, because as we turn to automation, I always tell people, those jobs, the grocery store clerk and all of those, are diminishing as we do self-checkout. But guess what? Self-checkout is ran by computers and digital. Well, guess who has to program that? Somebody has to program these new job roles inside these organizations. And so that's why it's just going to be so vital for us to expose as many kids as possible to this different world, so that they do have these options as they continue to grow.
Absolutely. Well, I do have some questions from the students. I get to as many of these as I can, and I
Okay,
appreciate you pushing through with your voice. You still
no
sound great.
problem.
This first one is Common Dawson, and all these are ninth graders. I'm sorry, I should have said that. This is Common Dawson, and he asked, "How do you feel that your son has influenced the development of your program?"
You know, I just it makes you really good question, sweetheart. It really makes you more focused when it's tied to your family. You will do anything for your children, to make sure that they succeed. And so I think I did not have this passion prior to my son wanting to do it, but once I knew that he was interested, I basically stopped at nothing until I could get this opportunity for him to learn how to code. So it just really does, as a parent, you want your kids to be successful. It just makes me feel so much more valued in my, even in my house, that I was able to get something started for my child. And now for countless other, over thousands of kids have learned to code because of my program that was started in my basement. So that really does make me feel like I'm a valued citizen, if that makes sense.
Absolutely. This is London Jackson. She's a member of our band here, and she asked, "What was the most difficult part of the program for the kids, and now, and how do you encourage them to keep going?"
Oh, good question, London. My son's in jazz band. He plays the piano. Um, I would say just getting started. So many of the kids, the parents are forcing them. A lot of them, they don't know anything about computers, but the parents want to expose them. So getting started into the classes was usually the first challenge. Like, they're shy, they don't want to speak out, they don't know what to expect. So I think once they get into those classes and they understand, that they're fun, we make the classes fun, because as I told you, it's elementary kids. They're already in school all day. You don't want to be mundane in the evening when they're trying to learn coding. So we make the classes fun and it's exciting. So I think if you put a fun element on education, that's what drives them and keeps them wanting to come back.
Absolutely. Here's a good one. This is Leah Smith, member of our volleyball team here. She's actually in our IT program at our career center here in Madison County Schools. And she has two questions. One of them has, how do you keep your technology skills current? And what are the most desirable qualities for an IT professional?
Oh, wow. That is a good question. So how do I keep my skills? So I do a lot of research online. LinkedIn is a good source because they have a lot of articles on just what's new in technology. I follow a lot of my customers to see what they are thinking about in terms of future and technology. I also subscribe to some podcasts on technology, YouTube. The beauty of the world that we live in now, you have so many channels of access to education. It's not just your teacher and the Dewey Decimal System. I bet they don't know what that is. The Dewey
Oh,
Decimal
wow.
System and encyclopedias, right? You don't, there's so many more, there's so many channels of education out there that you can tap into. Subscribe to podcasts. LinkedIn is a great source. Forbes magazine, Fortune magazine. There's a lot of online databases that I use to, educate myself.
This is Jordan Job, and he asked, what made you start this career?
Which one? The worldwide?
Or just a technology career in general?
So I started worldwide technology 19 years ago, and it really fell into my lap. I was in HR. I did some technical aspects of the HR processes and back end stuff, and I enjoyed it. But I was looking for a different role, and I ended up at Worldwide Technology, and I wasn't in sales or anything like that, but I was on their proposal team and writing proposals. My background really is writing, and so I was writing proposals to kind of to pitch to customers to want to do business with us. And I migrated over to sales because they told me I had the gift of gab, and networking was one of my highest skills. Meeting new customers and meeting people and building relationships. That's actually, I would say, one of the things that I do best. And so sales was a natural fit. And I've been in the sales role for the last 8 years. So, and it's going well. So I would say networking, and you have to really like people. You really
Yeah.
do. And you have to have the gift of learning and want to learn and know that you don't know everything, and that's okay.
Yeah. Well, I just have two more, and I know your voice is giving out here.
No, it's good. You're
This
good.
is
You're
Trayvon
good.
Willis. This is Trayvon Willis. He's a member of our football team. And he asked, what are the biggest benefits of your program?
The biggest benefit, I would say, for sure, eyes closed, exposure, exposing kids that may not have known that there are these. So the most programs, if you look at schools, they start them in middle school and high school. And for me, in my opinion, professional opinion, that's too late. I think when you tap into kids as early as kindergarten and just introduce different career goals and not the traditional nurse, doctor, lawyer. When you teach them technical, that's out there, and these things, because some of the, I mean, being a coded is not easy. I'm not gonna say that that's an easy thing, but if you expose them early to the fundamentals, like you would math, like you would science, it just helps them that much more when they get into those career fields to maybe want to try coding or something technical. So I would say exposure is the biggest.
Absolutely. Let's got one more. This is Kelsey Burrell, one of our power lifters here. I know with you
Wow,
being a bodybuilder, I know that's big. That's big for
I
you.
love
But
it.
yeah. But she asked, "What do you do when you can't solve an issue?"
Oh, ask someone. Look, my so Dave Stewart is the owner of Worldwide Technology, and his mantra, or the way he grew, or what one of the things he said is he hired people smarter than him. And what he meant by that, when he first founded Worldwide, I hire people smarter than me. And for me, I surround myself with people that I perceive or that are smarter than me, especially in things that I know. So it's self-awareness is key. Like, I know I am not good at project management in terms of um, I'm a gray person. That's why sales works. There are people who are black and white, and they're logical. I surround myself with many of those types of people because I'm not. I'm more emotional when I make decisions. So I surround myself with people who are more logical. My husband's logical. So it works for me because I get to see the other side versus going off what I think I know. So I would say, know that you're not the smartest and surround yourself. If you can't solve something, get another perspective from other folks is key. And it's okay that you don't know everything. I think we always think we need to know everything, and it means we're dumb, or it means and that's not the case. You may be an expert in one area, but in one area, there's a learning curve, and someone else may be an expert. So grab hold of those people and ask questions. There's nothing wrong with questions. Nothing wrong with it.
Hold on one second.
Okay.
All right, sorry about that. But we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for joining us today. But before we go, first of all, tell us where to find Color Coded Kids.
So Color Coded Kids the website is www.colorcodedkids, spelled correctly, .com.
And, just tell, why should these kids, especially these young Black kids, why should they really consider getting into these IT fields? Because even like you said, like we both said, jobs have changed since we came up. Their parents, their grandparents had different opportunities, and those opportunities have changed. So why should they really learn these technology skills and look into these technology jobs?
I think if you want to make a decent salary, and if you want to be marketable, it is just so important to learn as much as you can. As you can see, this world is changing. It is automating. Everything is going to be ran by some sort of automated digital robot, machine learning. That's what the world is going to, and everything is going that way. And like the word you use that's just the best word I can say. If you want to be marketable and to be able to sustain yourself and your living, back when you graduate, or when you're post education, you really should consider a technical position, because I can almost bet you would never be out of work if you learn these skills. You will never be out of work. Even if you freelance, someone is always asking me or sending me a text, do you know someone that could create an app? Can you do? It's something related to digital. So I would say you will always have a job or an opportunity if you learn this vital skill.
Oh, absolutely. And it really would go to any industry. But we thank you so much. And you fought through the voice, but you still sounded great, just doing so many great things there. And I'm a huge Blues fan. So it's great to see, somebody from St. Louis. So again, Shay Gillespie, all the way from St. Louis, Missouri, Color Coded Kids. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. Good luck with your kids. And if they need to contact me, you have my email. I have no problem answering any questions. If anyone was shy and didn't really want to answer, feel free to have them reach out.
Well, I have a few more I can email you. I just for time and for your voice, I saved them, but I'll make sure I email those to you.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, have a good one.
I talk to you soon, my friend.
Okay, bye.